Hello my friends and welcome to our science video for today. Alright, we need to all hit pause, go grab our science notebook and our pencils and come on back when we're ready. Alright, if you're back with me, that tells me you have your science notebook. We're going to open it up to the page all about stars. Okay, before we get started, I have a quick video about looking at stars in the city versus out in the country. So let's get our brains ready to start thinking about stars. Sit back and enjoy the video.
It's Doug. How many stars can you see where you live? From the time I was a little kid, I've always been fascinated by the things I could see in the night sky. Things like the moon and the stars. So when I got older and applied to college, the first thing I thought to do was to join the astronomy club. That's a club for people who like to look at things in the night sky. In the astronomy club, they had telescopes that you could borrow. I was so excited. Some of the older students in the astronomy club gave me advice. They said, Doug, when you borrow a telescope, don't just use it near where you live, by all the bright streetlights. Instead, if you take the telescope and drive out into the country where there are no streetlights, just wait until you see the night sky there. You'll be surprised. I thought, what did they mean? I decided to take the telescope out to the country to find out. I took my friend Andrea with me. Now, I had grown up in a small town, and I could see some stars at night, but it wasn't exactly out in the country, so I didn't know how many stars I'd see that night. But my friend Andrea, she grew up in the middle of a big city, Chicago. She told me, Doug, I don't think I've even seen more than 10 or 11 stars my whole life. That's just all I could see from the city when I was growing up. I said, Andrea, would you like to come with me tonight? Everyone from the astronomy club says that if we drive out into the country, it'll be a big surprise. Well, when we got out there, I'll never forget the view. Are you ready for this? It looked like this. Whoa. With no bright city lights around, we could see hundreds of stars, maybe even thousands. I was amazed. And Andrea, I'll never forget. Her reaction was great. She almost fell over. She was that surprised. I'm not kidding. I remember what Andrea said. She said, Doug, this is like being in outer space. This is great. Now, whether you live in the city or in the suburbs outside the city or out in the country, every night you can see at least some stars come out. Why is that? Why do you think stars come out at night? And why do you think you can see more of them when you're out in the country?
Well, let's talk about that. Why do we see more stars at night? Well, it's because there's no light from the sun because the sun's on the other side of the earth. Excuse me, hiccup. And why do you think you see more stars in the country, like right here, than in the city? Well, we can't see stars during the day because of the bright light from the sun, right? Well, the light from big cities is the same thing. There's so much light in the cities, it makes it hard to see the stars. So in a big city, you see almost no stars. In a smaller city, you see some stars, but not a lot. But in the country where there are no city lights, no street lights, you see all of the big, beautiful stars. So it has everything to do with the light that is around us and around our environment when we can or cannot see the stars. All right, my friends, let's flip back over to our science journal. So today, we are going to answer all the questions about stars. So first things first, we need to talk about stars are what? And we need to write a fact about stars. So I should have stayed on that other page, silly Mrs. Sae-Wong. Let's do this. Thanks for bearing with me. It's always tricky to get everything on one screen. Here we go. Okay. So we're going to answer that question. Stars are what? Well, let's read about stars. What are stars? Stars are big, exploding balls of gas. There are different kinds of stars in the sky. Scientists study stars and place them in groups based on how they are alike and how they are different. Very hot stars look white or blue. Cooler stars appear red or orange. Stars can live for billions of years. What? How many stars are there? There are about 200 to 400 billion stars in our solar system. There are many types of stars, such as dwarf stars, giant stars, and neutrons. Oh my goodness. So much information. Okay, so we read it once. I want you to think about stars are what? And then we need to write a fact. I'm going to read this one more time. And I want to make sure you are listening to answer that question. What are stars? And an interesting fact that you learn, okay? Stars are big exploding balls of gas. There are several different kinds of stars in the sky. Scientists study stars and place them in groups based on how they are alike and how they are different. Very hot stars look white or blue. Cooler stars appear red or orange. Stars can live for billions of years. How many stars are there? There are about 200 to 400 billion stars in our solar system. There are many types of stars, such as dwarfs, giants, and neutrons. All right, friends, we've heard it twice. So now I want you to hit pause, and I want you to finish the sentence. Stars are what? And then write a fact. Most of you are doing an amazing job, but for those of you who have been just giving me facts and not complete sentences, give me your listening ears. I want complete sentences. I want you to show me that you are rock star, almost second grade writers, and tell me at least one interesting fact in a complete sentence. All right, if you're back with me, that tells me you have answered what stars are, and you've given me at least one interesting fact in a complete sentence. Now, let's turn the page. Okay. Let's see, let's make this big. Oh, what am I doing here? Mrs. Sae-Wong's losing her mind. My friends, Mrs. Sae-Wong needs coffee. That's what happens when I do not have enough caffeine. All right, so now we're going to continue answering these questions. What are stars? Wait a minute, didn't we just answer that? Yep, I'm making you write it twice because it's important that we understand what stars are. How many stars are there? We read about that in our reading. And another interesting fact. So, whatever interesting fact you wrote over here, that's fantastic. I want a second interesting fact. Complete sentences, capital letter, period at the end. Give me something else you learned about stars that you think are so cool. One more thing we didn't read at the bottom. It says closer look. What are constellations? Do you remember that word from our class meeting on Tuesday? Say it with me. Constellations. Good. Let's read the definition. Constellations are a group of stars that make a shape in the sky. They are often named after different mythological characters and creatures, like pretend characters and creatures. So constellations are a group of stars that make a shape in the sky. That's a pretty interesting fact. All right, hit pause. I want you to answer that question one more time. What are stars? But this time I want you to give me in a complete sentence. Stars are what? How many stars are there? There are blank number of stars. So just to help you out. Stars are blank. How many stars are there? There are blank stars in our, oh my gosh, where are we? In our, I'm going to circle it right here. I'm not going to say it. Do we remember what it is? Solar system. Good. And then one more interesting fact in that complete sentence. Hit pause, work on that page, come back when you're ready. you're back with me, that tells me you are all done answering this page on the stars. Finally, we're going to turn to the last page. Now I can make my screen big. On this page, we need yellow, orange, I know my colors, oh my gosh, Mrs. Sae-Wong, orange, and red. And we're going to use these colors to underline or highlight that important information from our reading. All right, so today we're going to use yellow to underline what are stars. We're going to use orange to underline how do scientists group stars. And we're going to use red to underline how long can stars live. So let's read this one time through. Stars are big exploding balls of gas. There are several different kinds of stars in the sky. Scientists study stars and place them in groups based on how they are alike and how they are different. Very hot stars look white or blue. Cooler stars appear red or orange. Stars can live for billions of years. Okay, so let's go back through. Did we find an answer to our what are stars? Well, let's read again. Stars are big exploding balls of gas. So what are stars? Big exploding balls of gas. Number 2. How do scientists group stars? Well, let's put our yellow away and let's get out our orange. And we'll keep reading. There are several different kinds of stars in the sky. Scientists study stars and place them in groups based on how they are alike and how they are different. So how do scientists group stars? They place them in groups based on how they are alike and how they are different. Finally, how long can stars live? Very hot stars look white or blue. Cooler stars appear red or orange. Stars can live for billions of years. So how long can they live? Stars can live for billions of years. All right, we're going to take that information and you're going to put the answers into complete sentences for me. So go ahead and hit pause, work on that, and come back when you're ready. Okay, if you're back with me, that tells me you have finished answering all 3 of the questions. Some of you have very much enjoyed coloring on each page. So if you would like to color in some of your stars and make your page beautiful and gorgeous, go for it. If you're like, coloring's not my jam, Mrs. Sae-Wong, I'm okay with that too. But we are all done, so I need you to head over to Seesaw and make sure that you send me a picture of all 3 pages. So we answered all about stars. You gave me more star information. And then you answered those 3 questions about stars from the reading. If you have any questions, if you're not sure you understand something, or if there's something not clear about stars, let me know. Otherwise, that's it for today's science video. Thanks, my friends. I look forward to reading everybody's sentences and seeing all of your hard work. Bye, friends.